Here's a guide from someone that has played over 100 hours in an off tournament, Koa online, offline. I've succeeded and failed. No bullshit goatman guide. These are some essential reminders. Whether you plan to traverse the map or down someone, you must know what you're working with. Another reminder that I've decided to express with my own words, this is very important. You play the entire game, you play goatman with the rule that you cage and someone is in it. Detention breaks that rule. Backstep is Goatman's first presence. It's a swift movement ability that allows him to smoothly go through cages, especially multiple cages at once. This is because theoretically if you can infinitely cage, you can infinitely backstep as well. This is a lot smoother and quicker than simply walking. It is a nice addition to his kit. Now let's explain how the cages work. We'll start simple. You can press or hold to place a 9 meter, 12 meter, or 15 meter cage. One of the most essential things is getting used to these distances of cages. This mechanical mastery simply comes with practice. Now we're going to go deeper. If the edge of your cage there's an obstacle, depending on the thickness of that obstacle, you either appear behind it as normal or you get pushed forward. This is a lot better for you to see rather than me explain it the way I just did. And here is a prime example. Now we're going to go over 4 types of cages that you can use to your benefit. I'm going to call this out of bounds cages. This is where you make a cage and a lot of it is blocked by the outside of the map. And what this does is you might expect a black cage, which I'll explain later, but you TP at the edge of the map even if the cage is far past the bounds. This is good for the goatman because, as you know, survivors, if they're going to kite the cage, they have to be able to use the teleport function, and this really reduces that ability for survivors. I mentioned black cages, and this is where we're going to explain it. This is when the obstacle is so thick the TP function of the cage no longer works on a specific side, and this is usually only on one side of the cage, but this is only on Ever Sleeping and Chinatown with all the big houses and all the massive structures. This has the same purpose as the first cage where you limit their TP function. The third one is blocking cages. This is a lot simpler, where instead of placing a cage for the survivor to be in it, you place a cage in order to block a survivor from getting somewhere. If you know your map well and you understand the situation that you're in, you might have to utilize this. And the last one, double cages. This is utilizing the feature that Goatman can place 2 cages within 3 seconds for only 59 energy, and as simple as it sounds, this can get very complex. So when you double cage, chances are you're probably doing a blocking cage as well. And the exception to this is when you are traversing the map and the first cage is just to get closer to the survivor and they're not in the cage, and then the second is simply to have them in the cage in order to hit them. And now this is where I explain the complexity, because I did forget to mention that the cage TP function has its own cooldown. So when you're traveling between 2 cages, there's actually no cooldown on that. You can do it very smoothly, and it can mess up either the survivor or the goatman, depending on who tracks better. For that sole reason, I think this is the only cage as a goatman where you create and it can throw you off. So you have to be very careful with utilizing this one. This is probably the most versatile cage you'll use in almost, it can be any scenario. You can combine blocking cages and then you can double cage. These two are the most versatile. So later on in a bit, I'm actually going to show you a good amount of tricks that have to do with these double cages. And now a way to think about Goatman is that you're making the kiting arena that the survivor must adapt to, and if they don't, it's an easy hit, down, kill. Once again, you combine all of this knowledge to increase your chances of hitting inside a cage, because that's the goal. This is essential mechanical mastery, and because of the way Goatman works, mistakes will be very punishing. These are fancy looking tricks. Fancy, but objectively cages that are quicker and give the survivor less time to react. Sometimes their structure is too weird that you manually have to place these cages yourself, which means it's no longer a cool trick or a fancy trick. But it's a cool way to visualize the purpose of cages, because chances are you're placing cages with a similar purpose, just not as fancy. There is no reason to talk, I will just show you. I told you guys, no bullshit, share this video. These are not easy to make, but otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will see you all next time.